So think about this for just a moment. If we're all meant to be the light of God, the presence of God, really shining perfectly brightly, what kinds of things are in your way? What stands out? What's the first thing that comes to mind if you imagine that if the light of God were shining right here onto a screen and I'm casting a shadow, then something's in the way. How do I get to a place where I'm not casting a shadow? Now, on earth you could say you'll always be casting a shadow because that's to be human. But just figuratively, how can I get to the place where I'm not casting much of a shadow? And that's what it means to say God's will and my will are one and the same. Jesus saying, I and my Father are one and the same. And it's not that you literally shouldn't cast a shadow. It's the old hurts and wounds casting a shadow. That's when it gets to be a bit of a drag. When something's in the way, that's the darkness of one's soul. And everybody has that to begin with on this planet. But as we grow spiritually, that's what we're heading for, is just to not cast as much of a shadow. And again, it doesn't mean literally as much as energetically. A footprint, as it were. Do you leave footprints? And are the footprints gentle, or are they plodding through, leaving, giant holes where your feet have hit, showing, who's been here, that person that walks through the room and everybody's a casualty afterwards, Collateral damage all the time. So how do I not leave the ego self left and right? That's something for us all to consider. So think about what's in the way. If I were to imagine, figuratively, light of God shining upon something, and I think that when I cast a shadow, that shadow is coming from something within myself, unhealed and so forth, what would it be? What comes to your mind first? Something you want to know and don't know? Something you want to feel and don't feel? Something you wish weren't in the way? Obsessing on something? Bless you. Sneezing. What is it? What is it? When something comes to mind, if a few brave souls could shout out whatever it is that you'd like to hear about today, share. Fear? Shame? Habits. What else? Addictions. Okay, cool. Stress? Can't help you on that one. No, I'm kidding. Forgiveness. And what was the other one? Grief. Depression. Grief. Okay, that's good. That's about 25 things, I think. And let's understand this. One reason I ask is not because I wouldn't be able to think of something to talk about. I'm asking also for you, and then also for the people around you. Because when you say depression, you're not the only one. When you say stress, you're not the only one. We're all connected, so we speak for each other. Whether we're screaming stuff, or crying stuff, or holding stuff in, what we feel, we all feel, because we're all in this together. And as a collective, we're learning to bring these things to the foreground and work them through, so that at some point, the collective no longer is casting a dark shadow. So, it's going to be the easy way or the hard way that we learn. But it doesn't help us to keep anything shut down or stuffed inside. It doesn't help for you to say, oh, but I should be past this. I mean, I've been working on this for years. It doesn't matter. You could be working on it for lifetimes. The bottom line is, if it's there, it's there. Oh, but it shouldn't be there. Thanks for sharing. But it is. So let's work on it. But I don't want to keep working on it. People come for private sessions, physical healing, emotional healing, all kinds of things. And sometimes they'll say, oh, I don't know why that's coming up. And let's go to something else. But that's what's coming up. Oh, but I wish it weren't. Thank you for sharing once again. But it is. We have to not be attached to it being there nor being gone. Everything more organic. If it shows up, it shows up. And you can say, instead of it shouldn't be, which is slapping your own hand, I wish it weren't, but it is. So our job is to say, okay, I guess that's what flight we're on today. I guess that's the thing we're doing today. When you don't judge it, it actually starts to lose its grip more than if you obsess on wishing it were gone. The saying, oh, that. Okay. So we're doing that today. No charge. It allows it to just move through. It always reminds me of, I don't know if anybody here is old enough to remember this commercial, back in the 60s, to show you how amazingly smooth this poo is. I think it was Prel. You dropped a pearl in the top and gently watch it float through, okay? All right, see? So that pearl would drop through. That's how things are supposed to happen for us. Hey, let's talk about your childhood. Plop. No problem. No, not that. It's just dropping on through. Let's talk about finances. Let's talk about self-worth. Things are supposed to just move through us gently without reaction. When we have reaction, we're demonstrating, affirming, in fact, we have a problem. Now, again, then you can go, dang, I got caught again. I saw the reaction and it's going to happen. So what do you do with it again? Once, even if there were just like there were no reaction. There's a reaction, let that become something to not react to it. Don't react to your reaction. Because then you're doubly up creek. And it's not like the ego's not noticing these things. The ego is this part of our mind, brilliant, flawless memory, and just notices every time that pearl gets snagged, every time the pearl takes a side, tour over here and a tour over there, side tracking, it notices every one of those. And every time you and I try to assert meaning in a good way of, like, I'm ready to be part of God, I'm ready to have a better life, the ego's like, oh, really? Well, let's just look in your files here. Reaction, 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 So, and then what do you think that does? Some of you were asking. Shame. Shame. And the old saying, shame on you. That's the ego. And how do we respond with the shame on you? Immediately we drop. Oh, it's like it's a curse. Shame on you. And there's an invisible, I am not enough, and there's a visible saying, I'm not enough. Oh, I could never do that. There's an invisible, that's the most dangerous. The thoughts you have about yourself that you try to pretend you don't have, including, oh, I'm all healed. That's just like an accident waiting to happen. Are you healed of all your stuff? The best answer is, I don't know, I'm open. See, the ego doesn't know what to do with that. People that are open, I don't like that. Because if I bring stuff up, they're open to processing it without judgment. And if I don't bring stuff up, they're open to being without it. It's looking for someone to react. So then there's religions based upon, and I don't just mean literal religions, thought system based upon, don't react. So we have these people going, yeah, man, I'm spiritual. I have no reactions. And you get in front of them, boo. No reaction, no reaction. It's like spiritual military, just 10 hut, just, wow. Like, relax. No, because if I do, something might, what? If I am as God created me, then what else could there be? And so all these other things that happen are sort of just fantasies. They're just things, blips. They're not who I am. The who I am at the core of it all is made in God's image. So there's an invisible, I'm not enough. That's dangerous. The one just stuff or don't believe you know about. But you do know about him, but you don't want to know about him. I am not enough. Then there's the visible I'm not enough, which is the, oh, I could never do that, and so on. Then there's the visible I'm enough. You're still not there yet. The invisible I'm enough is called a knowing. And here come the shames and the blames and the things you guys were bringing up, the depressions. I struggle with depression. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. But I shouldn't be feeling, careful. But you are feeling this. So if I allow that, there's less chance of depression, because the depression's going to come from being conflicted. The opposite is to feel inspired in the spirit. Being on planet Earth is a depressing thing. There's a motivational talk for you, isn't it? Being on Earth is not only depressing, there's a chapter in my Course in Miracles book, that life on Earth is a psychotic experience. And it is. Because you're talking about people that aren't really there. They're all a hologram. Everyone's a hologram. We're all one, looking like many. So we're all just splintered off little, small identities that are making up masks and images of the greater identity that has forgotten who they are. If I know who I am, then I'm one. When I see you, I see myself. And, oh, you're kind of annoying. I better look at that part of myself. Oh, you're wonderful. I better look at that part of myself. They're all parts that I don't want to see, so I push them out. If I push out positives, there's things about you I like, that's called transference. If I push out negatives, it's called projection. Technically, they're all projections, but one, negative projection and negative transference. Why wouldn't we call transference a positive? Because it's still me disempowering myself. I can't live if living is without you. And people listen to songs like that. Oh, that's completely dysfunctional. It's completely dysfunctional. Right? You complete me. Oh, if someone says you complete me, or I can't live if living, you run, just run. Because if you're flattered, because part of us goes, wow, man. Someone that feels more complete as long as I'm around, that's kind of cool, because that means I have power. If I just threaten to take that away, they're going to get back in line. So it's a game. And also, it affirms that you do complete them, which you can't. Only God can. And so when you want to play the game that you complete someone, or that they can't live if living is without you, you're actually now hooked into the dysfunction yourself. It's better for you to say, if I'm going to be with you, I think we should work on that. I would like to get more connected with how you become more complete, And it's a funny thing, because you can have children, and you have to raise them the same way. How to teach them to be more complete. Yes, you can respect me as the parent because I'm playing the role. But we're all in this together. You're scared, you have a challenge at school today, whatever. Yeah, me too, I have those too. And it's not that you want to take away the kid's moment and override them with your issues. I'm saying you show that we're in this together. So they can see, so Mom, you struggle too? Yes. What do you do about it? Ah, glad you asked. And you show them as a good example on how to deal with life stuff. Know the truth of God, but respect the illusion. To respect the illusion means I'm sad today. Oh, sorry to hear that. What would you like to do? I don't even want to go out. Then let's not go out. What would you like today? Warm bath, nice. Would you like me to run the water for you? What would you like? Supporting each other in those moments when we're in the thinking or speaking, I'm not enough. But we're learning, and we must learn. I am enough. So you're going to go from thinking not enough, speaking not enough. You think speaking it's bad. No, thinking it's worse. Believe it or not. Like Jesus is saying, the act is already done in the thought. So you're thinking it, speaking it, you're getting better. Doesn't look like it, but you're getting better. Because you're getting it out a little bit to see it. But then you're going to eventually start speaking positives, and some people think that's the end. Speak, I am enough. Good. But the I am enough, if you have to say it a lot, you're still compensating. There's the knowing, and then you just smile more often. I don't mind when I do talks if people just feel like a spontaneous, sometimes the spontaneous call that they applaud. But the way I designed, anytime I've gone on tours for X billion years now, I go on tour, I do a talk, and I end it with a meditation. One, because it's nice to move right into meditation. Two, it keeps them from applauding. You know, and I've been at some churches, well, wait, but that's their, they should respect you and honor. If they don't, why would I need it? I imagine they liked it. Well, they want to applaud to let you know they liked it, but I already know they liked it. And if they didn't, I'd rather them keep it to themselves. No, and don't get me wrong, guest speakers come in and it seems appropriate. That's the way the world works. I'm just saying I actually found a way to not have that because I'm not needing to be there for that. And we have to all learn to not, I am enough, look at me. It took me forever. It took me years to put photos on flyers. And people like to see who you are. And there's a little bit of shyness to it, but also I had to be able to get from the childhood not enough to the enough and then say it and then become it. We all have to learn to get to that place of becoming it. Now, if you think I'm talking about an exercise where now you just don't speak it and you just say, I just know I am enough. If it's still you thinking it, you're still falling short. The reason I am enough is not just because I'm not speaking I am enough, it's because that's what God designed me to be. It's kind of like saying, God said, therefore it is. I don't have to squirm for it, deny it, minimize it. I don't have to do anything to it. It's already designed. I am as God created me. There's a saying in A Course in Miracles, for example, but I am as God created me. I will to be the Christ on earth. And I'm not saying you can easily walk into like a family reunion and say that. Although it's worth trying. I'm saying to know that. When you hear, oh my God, I'm depressed, I don't want to, just stop and remember this. Actually, I am as God created me, but I feel depressed. There's a difference. One is, it's how I feel right now. The other is I am. And that's the important piece to it all. I am. I am the true I am. That's what it means. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. It means when you're going to say I am and you say anything that belittles yourself, it is taking the Lord's name in vain. Because you're taking what God created you to be and acting as though it's not true. Well, yeah, but that's how I feel. It's how you feel. Say that. Say, isn't it funny how I am made in God's image, but I'm not feeling like it? That's true. Little lowercase t, that's true in this world. But isn't it great that I can feel miserable and not affect the truth of God? As soon as I'm done feeling miserable, I still am made in God's image. And it's taking the Lord's name in vain, meaning I'm taking God's power and minimizing it when I want to pretend that I can be anything but love and peace and joy and abundance. And everything else can reflect that. The more I know who I am, the more the outside world reflects that. And if you want to think that that means somehow making up a perfect world per se, it's not that the world starts to dance to your tune all the time. The first thing that happens is it does start to look nicer, but it especially feels different. Stuff can still happen and you're not as easily swayed. Back to where we started. Here comes depression, here comes shame, here comes fear, some of the emotions you mentioned. And they don't seem to have the same grip. That's how you know you're growing spiritually. When you're catching yourself sooner, when you're hearing the I am not voice, the ego that says, instead of I am, it says I am not. I am as God created me. Wait, no, I'm not. I am powerful. No, I'm not. I can come through any issue. No, I can't. Down, down, down. They're opinions, and they're not God. If they're not God, they're not real. If they're not real, they don't have power. If they don't have power, why am I being affected by them? Being able to see it. Oh, there's that again. And being able to almost laugh at it. The shames we have. The shames we have. So some of the decisions we've made. No matter what people tell us, it doesn't change who we are. That's not our true identity. Old or young, whatever it happens to be. poverty or prosperity. None of the outside things are truly what I am. They're only what seems to be. And the more I get in touch with that I am, my outer world can start to reflect the real me rather than all the made up parts of myself. I carry shames because of things I've done, jobs I've had that I weren't really good for me. I didn't have enough lunch money, I being any of us. I didn't have enough money when I was in school. And I was ashamed. Other kids had new clothes and I never had that. Our family couldn't afford gifts at Christmas. That's a drag. It's not necessary to even be having that on earth. Just horrible that people would have that. Some of the poverties that go on in this country and all countries. The poverty, the shames, it's the strangest thing. But consciousness has to change before people will change. The consciousness has to shift. So we have to recognize our deservability. We all know, we've seen pictures of poverty in the world. Where is it? Oh, it's over there. No, it isn't. All I see is a reflection of me. So the poverty we see in the world is a reflection of something going on within ourselves. There can't be poverty there if it's not in here. Something in me needs to be healed. So when we see that, bring the presence of God to yourself. Surrender onto the altar beliefs in poverty and lack. Surrender it. You don't have to say, well, yeah, but I don't have that problem. Yes, we do, and you're part of us. So bring it to the altar. Don't bring things that you just think are inconveniences of your own life. Bring ours as well. If you're the light of God, bring it. God, Christ or Jesus or whatever you use in terminology, how would you have me change this room today? Could I bring this part of me or that part of me? And how about this? Because I could do this. All the little I is talking. And if you listen, Christ would say, bring me to the room and I'll bet you we can change the room. Bring me to your images, your thoughts, what you see. See, people are trying to fix things such in micro levels. And God says, if you just do one thing, instead of trying to fix each thing on a human level, try this. Try bringing me into each situation. And then you'll hear the voice of God saying, I am the light of the world. And I've already overcome the world. You'll hear those kinds of thoughts and feel those kinds of feelings and understand those kinds of concepts. You children struggling with drug addictions and all of it. There's no well, I'd like to bring this issue, but this one's probably too big for God. This one's probably, which really means I'm a little embarrassed myself. So, it's my own issues. Bring any of it and all of it. There's not only miracles waiting to happen to you, but you're also supposed to be bringing miracles for us. A gentleman just shared with me the other day, in my book on love and forgiveness, I included a few exercises on practicing forgiveness. One of the exercises is the traditional Hawaiian Ho'oponopono prayer. And it's a beautiful prayer because it's got such depth to it. Few simple lines, but really, really deep. But this gentleman was saying, and I practiced the Ho'oponopono prayer. And he said, and he's been a practitioner now for a while, but he said, amazing thing happened. He said, I was sitting and reciting the prayer. And all of a sudden, undeniably, like not kind of, like a feeling, a subtle thing, undeniably, a flash came into his mind. And he was shown a baby in another country with a mom, and the child was being born and was going to die. He was shown this in his practice of forgiveness right there in this country, in this moment. He was shown a vision of a baby that would have died somewhere else that now was going to live. He doesn't know the family, he doesn't know the child, he's never been to that country, and yet he was shown the effects of his forgiveness here on someone else somewhere else. And you think, well, if you don't know them, it doesn't work. Again, people forget. We're all connected. So however and wherever, there could be a past life connection with that family. Who knows? And you shouldn't even care. You're doing work, when you're doing your love work, when you're doing your light work, how can I bring the light of God to this moment? Because everybody's got light, but you use your light either to burn or to illuminate. And it's choice. Do you use your light? Do you burn people with your light? Because it happens. Ego gets in the way. And then, my religion's better than yours. I'm better than you. My family's more this and that, burning people. That's not God. God is this sense of love and light. And God says, all that I am, you are. So you learn to calm the light a little bit and bring it to illuminate people's lives. Our humilities, our vulnerabilities, our ability to say, yeah, I've been there too. Not when you're trying to override people sharing with your stories. I'm just saying it's an attitude of we're all in this together. Spiritual teachers or whatever it happens to be. The people that say things like, I'm now and they have all kinds of names. I reached Samadhi, all these names, and I'm a master, I'm illuminated. And truly to be such, you probably won't be talking about it. You won't have to tell everybody how enlightened you are. There's just going to be this presence. And I'd rather listen and be in the presence. I'd rather listen to and be in the presence of somebody who's just that beautiful, gentle, authentic energy sitting next to me, let's say on a plane, than if I were to sit somebody, next to somebody wearing exactly the right garb, telling me how illuminated they are. I would be thinking, wow, can I help you in some way? I mean, would you like to look at that? Maybe we should work on that inner master, try some humility or something. So the I am on this planet is allowed to shine brightly. But people ask, let's say Jesus, or in A Course in Miracles, those concepts in the Course. You are as God created you. It sounds so profound. Then you probably shouldn't have issues, and you should, and so on. Jesus is telling you that in the Course, you're going to have the issues. Even if you totally get it, you're still going to have things on this planet. In the New Testament, he says, you'll always have suffering. Meaning not a fatalistic negative statement. What he's saying is, if you have an ego-based world, you're going to have ego-based symptoms of it. However, what he's telling us is, what if you reach enlightenment, like some people say they have? Reached enlightenment. You're not supposed to take the enlightenment and say, wow, I've now reached enlightenment. Nice to meet you all. Hi, I'm over here looking at all of you. I am enlightened, and you, whatever, your affirmation sucks to be you, or whatever it is, Too bad for you. No, if I reached enlightenment, good job. That's 1 down and 7 billion to go. That's how I should be looking at it. It's like, I got some work to do. And as long as I'm capable of seeing one of you, Yogananda said this, so long as there's one left that hasn't made it, I'm coming back. And that's the master. The bodhisattva that understands, I'm here to serve. I'm not here to go, whoa, back off, people, because I made it. Sorry for you folks, but if you're nice, I might send you an occasional lofty thought. And you make a meme, The master said, and that'll really make me feel better about myself in my 5th dimensional consciousness. That's not the goal. It's we're in this together. So that one says, okay, boom, made it. Oh, nice. All right. Now I have more with me. I have more knowing and power and so forth to get in there and help more people. So Jesus tells you in the Course, as I was saying, you're going to still have challenges. And they're asking him, but why? He said, oh, that's simple. Because I need you to have something to talk about. Why would I have depression if I'm spiritual? So you could talk to other people that are depressed and give them some hand up, so to speak. Little, come on, here we go. You're going to still have your moments, and you'll have somebody that needs you to lend you a hand. But when you still have stuff, those are the groups you're going to need to talk to. And you're going, but I don't want any stuff. But if you're on the planet, when we send you in, even if you've made it to the other side and your ears turned into wings, you're like Mercury made manifest. You're like, you are a god, goddess. Great. We're going to still, on your way, slip into your purse some dysfunction. How you doing? Oh man, I just feel, yep, masterful. I feel alive. Feel great. All right, excellent. Just turn around, go in, and on the back of your back, kick me. You know, because there's groups of people that they need you to be able to reach. And so you get here and good old amnesia, and then all of a sudden it's, why is this? I don't understand the abuses and the neglects. When you start to get out of the quiet, I don't deserve attitudes and thoughts, the quiet negatives, to the verbal negatives, to the verbal positives, to the quiet positives, to the I am of God. That's the ticket. To navigate from the bottom of the bottom to where I'm just so hurt, I don't even know what to say, to verbalizing it and coming out of that and realizing you moved from frown to smile, but you did it real. You did it viscerally. You know, you feel it. You understand it, and you're still going to slip. There are days we're going to slip. As much as you may know. I mean, Yogananda went through the dark night of the soul. He's a master. He's not supposed to have it. Yes, he is. You know, he lost some hair at the end of his life. He gained an extra 50 pounds. He had people betraying him. Jesus didn't look 20 when he was 30. He got 10 years older. He didn't say, you know, I got this Jesus Christ thing going on. I feel all Christy. Well, I'm starting to have 30-something-year-old wrinkles. This is, you know, especially. Then there's the beatings. You know, there's that. You know, he could have said, man, I thought when I was asked, you know, you want to step up and play the Christ role, I thought it meant I'm going to just float through and everybody's going to praise me. No. When you carry the light, Viktor Frankl once said, if you're going to bear light, be prepared to burn. So when you're carrying light, there are a lot of people that don't like it. And I'm not saying you're better than them or that they're better than you or this person or that person is one up. Or I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in this world, the nature is the beings, you know, the human beings and the egos. The ego does not like to see light because in the light, there is no ego. So ego says, if you start to bear too much light, I don't exist, so it's going to fight for its survival. You think it's going to do that gently and quietly? Of course not. And it knows all the records again. So it'll bring up whatever will most annoy you at any given moment that needs to distract you yet again. Your job, even if you succumb to it, your job, as quick as you can, catch it. That's all. Oh my God, that one slipped by, didn't it? And it's called apologize and make amends. Yeah, you knock down a couple of drinks and you're supposed to be clean and sober, catch it. You're not bad, you're not wrong, you're just, oops. That's a chant everybody needs to get to know. Oops. 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 My bad. Ding. Oops, oops, my bad. Ding. That's all. Like, on the other side, there's never been a being to punish you for anything you've ever done. We punish ourselves enough. So it's not any more than that's not necessary. So yeah, there's people that don't dig the light. As I'm starting to draw to a close, keep this in mind. You know, you bear light and there's people that don't like it. But the funny thing is, the ones that least like it are the ones that are creepy under the rocks anyway. Why do you want to look under rocks for your partners? You know, just... Of course, the creepy things under the rocks don't like light, but those aren't the things you're supposed to be dating. Start getting used to other people that love the light. Hang out with them, celebrate with them, dance with them. You know, it's kind of cool. And if you run into the other, don't act all dark and under the rock with them just to blend in. I am the light of the world. Where I go, I am to bring the light in the best ability I can. I'm not claiming that you're walking around saying, I'm perfect. It's just, I'm going to do my best to bring light. And that's our job. Catch ourselves when we slip, bounce back. That's all. Catch it, bounce back. And if my slipping involved hurts and collateral damages, apologize and make amends. What does make amends mean? It's the same word as repentance. Repent means apologize and make amends. But what does amends mean? It means, and I will do my best to not repeat this. People that say, listen, I already apologized for such and such. Yeah, but you did it 20 more times since. If I'm done with, I've always told people, even when I was a kid, somebody would apologize. And when I got married, back in those days I was married, and when she would apologize for something, what I would say is, it's okay, thank you. I don't need the apology. What I'd like to see is it not happen again. Because to me, that was an active apology. The words mean nothing. Let me see it. And that is impressive. And Jesus is telling you, if they make sincere apology amends, or if they make sincere repentance, you should forgive them. Because what he's saying is, because now they're done with that. And if they did it only in the past and they're sincere, then it's done. And if you still hurt, hate, condemn them, you're actually staying in your own hurt and hate and condemnation. And when we say the words trusting, well, they apologize, just trust them. This is very important for us to understand on the path. You are never, because we think you're supposed to just trust. Oh, I just trust the universe. I'm going to trust my children, the addictions, that it's okay. And this time when they want money, it's not for that. Or my partner, I'm going to just trust again, And blind trust is not what we're asked to do. A great way to word this is never trust the ego in a person. Don't trust the addict. Don't trust the ego. Don't trust the evils in the world. That's not what you're being asked to trust. You're being asked to trust God. If the person accesses God, then you're, obviously you're trusting God in them because they're accessing God. That's pretty cool. Don't trust the ego. It's okay for you to say, if someone says to you, listen, all right, look, I know I've been an addict for a long time, and I know I've apologized 15 times, I know I've cheated on you 12 and a half times, because the half I don't want to talk about. But I know I cheated on you a dozen times, but you're supposed to be spiritual. And you're supposed to, unless you're a hypocrite, you're supposed to just forgive me. You're supposed to be able to guide you. Well, here's what you do. You say, I do. And that's the great thing. I'm trusting the real you that wouldn't be capable of doing such a thing. The other one has to move out. I mean, that's okay. And some people think that's hypocrisy. And the ones that are doing it to you are going to call you a hypocrite. And you say, well, let me check in. No, I muscle tested. I'm good. I don't feel any hypocrisy here anyway. No, I'm pretty consistent. This is what works for me. This is what doesn't work for me. There's me. There's a light down at the end of the hall there. There's a light, a doorway of light. It's the presence of God. I'm heading towards that. For that to happen, for me to reach that light at the end of the tunnel, I need to resonate. My life needs to resonate with something called healthiness. Now, if you happen to be congruent with that path, I'm good with that. Anything not congruent, not just with you, even within me, get behind me, Satan. That's where that saying's, what it's meaning. Get out of the way. Here's where I'm going. Jesus is saying, I'm going to Jerusalem. Here's what we're going to do. Peter says, don't go, don't go. Even though it sounds like the, support of a friend, Jesus says to that friend, get behind me, Satan. I mean, what kind of friend is that? Can you imagine? Get behind me, Satan. But he's saying, I can see that ego is rising up in you to scare me and keep me intimidated from going where I need to go. I don't need that. Thank you. Move. Powerful stuff. So when you say, I need to take a break from dating, and your girlfriends are like, no, what you need is to go out. Let us take you to a bar, because there for sure you'll meet somebody wonderful. So when they're pulling, the reason they're trying to do it is because misery loves company. Say, although you may not use the words, get behind me, Satan. Which is another way of saying, thank you, I'm good. And they talk, and you say it more firmly. Wait, let me make it more clear, guys. I do hear that there's a part of you that's trying to be helpful. Thank you. Now, but the conversation is over because I know where I'm going. I need to fast from a relationship for a while. Speak clearly. Speak solid. when you go through those points of not knowing who you are, unconsciously or unverbally, then to verbally, saying, I'm not enough, to I am enough, to knowing you're enough, and then knowing because God says so, you're not going to succumb to people's peer pressures for drugs, alcohol, or any kind of addiction or distraction. The way of God. That's all I'm about. Now, does that mean you have to wear only white and look a certain way and wear a crystal and whisper? No. You can be like, yeah, baby. You can be like in your body. That's absolutely great. But it's in here. People can sense it. You don't walk up to Jesus and say, little temptation. See, Jesus says, he goes through 40 days, 40 nights. And then they say he's tempted. The devil, evil, the ego, whatever. Something says to him, I can sense you really know who you are. So it's not going to work to go to Jesus and say, a Twinkie, And Jesus is going to go, God, I was just about to become the Christ and I can't. Give me that Twinkie. This is a being who I don't think so. Okay, what's the voice say? How about the entire world? He has to be tempted with the entire world. All power. Why? Because that's how clear he was. And he still said no. Why? Because man does not live by bread alone. And you think, well, you've heard that before. Does he mean bread and man does not? Guys, it's a deep statement and a teaching he's telling you and I. Man does not live by bread, but by the word. It means it isn't stuff that will satisfy you. You don't have a stomach. You don't have a body. Food isn't going to fill you. People aren't going to fill you. Knowing who you are, which is you are the Word of God. You are the creation of God. You are the Christ on earth. That is how you get through the tests. And that's what he was teaching. Bread? A Twinkie? You got to be kidding me. And some of us think we're really deeply spiritual and we have no tenacity. We have no inner strength when it comes to this world. Depression comes again and it knocks you down. It's okay to feel the depression, but don't let it make you think you lost in some way. It is what it is, and this too shall pass. It's not who I am. Feel the feeling and move to the light at the end of the tunnel anyway. How beautiful it is when we can be tempted to fill those judgments on ourselves or others and say, not today. I see it, I feel it, I hear it, feels even justified. No, I get it. I'm not going to run from it or deny it or minimize it. I'm just going to say, not today. And then forward we go again. So just absorb that as best you can. There's no accidents. There's a reason why I'm saying it, why we're hearing this. It's for me, it's for you, it's for us. People you don't even know, we don't even know, are being affected by this talk today. Not only watching, some online around the world are watching. I'm not talking about just them. I'm talking about frequencies. And there's people in your past, your future. You heard something I said today that actually unraveled some old stuff with a relationship from high school that you forgot or didn't forget. And we unraveled some. Why? Because we just dropped in and trusted to a deeper level. And then I seemingly just talked about the, words. No, we journeyed into forgiveness. All the things I was saying, we were journeying into. We didn't just talk about them. If a speaker stands and just talks to a group, that's all they're going to get. They talked, we heard or didn't hear, in one ear, out the other, and we're done. A true teacher would know somehow how to journey within, and we're experiencing the words. And that's not because of a human skill. That's a person, a teacher, and a group that says, all right, God, I need something a little more today. And then something multidimensional happens. I think this afternoon we have a healing workshop, and we're going to talk a little bit about some shamanic techniques as well as other, to heal stuff, to unravel stuff, to heal the past. But remember this, you have to empty your cup to have it refilled. We all know that. What do you think emptying your cup is? Just getting rid of stuff you learned intellectually or read? No. Emptying the cup means shames and guilts, limiting beliefs. Got to empty it out. Empty it as much as you want. 1%? 50%? You get to decide. The emptier it goes, the more room you've made for God to now refill it. The problem is some people sort of empty, if they even know about emptying. Some don't do that at all. But those who do, they sometimes empty a little. And then, even if they empty a lot, they forget that you refill with God. You don't leave an empty space. Because we were told, anything you empty out and don't replace with something new, the old's going to come back to it as it was. Just the addictions come back. Pour out the addictions, pour out the negative beliefs, and replace them with the presence of God, as you know it to be. Replace it with love and peace. I'm going to empty out low self-worth and fill it with love and self-worth. I'm going to empty out depression with peace and joy. Whatever would be, say, the opposite. The old life has to go. I know we've done things that we feel a little funky about. We've made decisions, selfish decisions, fear-based decisions, things about money. There are people, you know, my God, some of the people we've slept with, you got to be kidding me, you know? How could you not feel a little ashamed, you know? You know, and, you know, you're going to get to the other side, you know, hanging your head low. You know, what's wrong, beloved? Oh. The people, you know, oh my God, they go, yeah, we heard. No, not really. But all of that stuff we're carrying. There's no angels on the other side going, it's them, you know, when you enter. Guys, it's okay. No amount of what you've done, thought, said, is held by any being but ourselves. And that's why we put ourselves occasionally through the dark night of the soul, to cleanse our past. So become born again. Not in the traditional sense, it's not just by water being splashed on you. Become born again in that the old you is brought to the altar and given to God, and a new you is brought forward. How? Ask God to. Say, you know, God, I'm ready. Let's birth a new me. And I wouldn't even just do that once. I would do it every year. That's your best New Year's resolution. It's fall time. Empty your cup. Let the fall pass away. Let stuff die in the fall. Make your list of things you'd like to say goodbye to. Patterns, shames, behaviors, certain types of people or specific people in your life. Make a list. If I want to go and become a bright, bright, bright tree of life, what kinds of things do I not want in my life? You know, the tree of life meaning the birth through Christmas. If I want to birth the Christ self, what things do I not want in my life anymore? Don't just pretend they're not there or wish they weren't there. Write them down. And then ask, you know, you can do a ceremony, the burning bowl, or you can do a ceremony yourself and just release these things. Say goodbye to the things that aren't serving that new life, but become born again. Let it be God entering your being. Let it be in your physical life. Let it be old things, tangible, that are going goodbye, and then something new. What would you like to have? But if you're going to answer that, here's what I'd like to have. Then do not be hypocritical about it. Don't say, I would like better relations, and then still choose anything less than that. Don't say, I'm ready for prosperity, and keep speaking words of lack. Don't talk about how you want your soulmate, and then keep dating cellmates. You know? And if you say you want to meet somebody that's beautiful and wonderful in their energy, then stop dating people that look like they're dressed for Halloween. You know? A new life, no ghouls. A new life, healthy, loving people. We're in this together, so let's make it a good journey. Please take a few centering breaths. Relax the tensions in the neck and the back. Relax. a doorway of light in the distance. And that doorway of light represents the presence of God. It's the answer to all prayers, it's miracles, prosperity, spontaneous healing, all those things people believe they want, need. A long tunnel, a light at the end. And imagine stepping up and slowly moving, very slowly down this dark, dark tunnel towards that light. As we move down that corridor, down that tunnel, to each side of us, there are all the reasons that we don't deserve to reach that light. There are people from your past saying, "Why would you go there without me?" Imagine who those people would be. I'm not saying let them hook you to the side. I'm asking you to stay in your center. You're walking, but you pause. Try to imagine the voices and who they would be from your past saying, "How could you go there without me?" And just hear yourself saying, "Then come with me," and continue walking or floating. Some will join you, some will not. It doesn't matter. Our eyes are on that light. Imagine hearing some voices saying, "You can't. You don't deserve to go to that light. You partied with us. You did things along with us, or you did certain things to me." Be aware of all those voices. Who would those people be? And just be brave and be spontaneous. Let them come up. Maybe people you don't want to think about and people you do. Just let them come up if they come up. Some, maybe people you forgot. And just hear that voice in yourself or see yourself speaking. "But I do deserve. You're welcome to come along." And continue moving. And just one more for now. The next group of voices are your own voices. Your deepest, darkest shames. Things about yourself you could not even imagine wanting to think about or know. It could be that I feel weak sometimes. I feel like a hypocrite sometimes. The secrets we try to keep. You're welcome to come along. You're not evaluating what is worthy and what isn't. You're just welcoming them. They're welcome to come along. And then back to the journey. And continue moving down that tunnel to the light, to the light, to the light. As you get closer to the light, there's anticipation. Sometimes people get intimidated. But there's excitement and joy. You just know on the other side of that doorway, whatever is real will remain with you. Whatever isn't will not. To the doorway, take a nice deep breath, and on the exhale, right into the light. And it's as though the door closes behind and there is only the light of God. Breathe it in. Dance and swirl and twirl the light. Imagine the incredible joy we feel when we're back to who we really are. This is more pure and more innocent than the child we once were that seemed innocent when we were younger. This is innocence beyond any human comprehension. Flawless, guiltless, shameless, wonderful innocence. I am as God created me. I will to be the Christ on earth. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you for not only creating me this way, thank you for never forgetting when I did that this is who I really am. Soak that in, and we close by imagining we turn, the door opens, and back to earth we go, but gently. And this time we're not walking in darkness towards a light. We're bringing the light with us into the darkness. We remain tethered to that light into the world. Notice that you should be feeling probably a bit of a smile when you walk into that world. It's not with fear and apprehension. You feel connected enough to know you can afford to be in this world and have the people there and the things that they do, and it not take you out of yourself. Anchoring the light of God in this world. And in that, I'm really integrating and anchoring in who I am. If I just ascend into the light and not come back, it's still theory. To hold that light, even in the third dimensional realm, this has become reality. Inside and out, I am as God created me. And a few quiet centering breaths, really feeling this and integrating this. And in about a half a minute to a minute, we'll go into the next part of the service. But take some time sincerely giving thanks for this experience.